President Trump will be talking energy tomorrow in Midland and around Midland. And joining us on the phones this morning, always a pleasure to visit with our next guest, Assistant to the President, Director of Domestic Policy Council, and as she reminded us last time, most importantly, a Texan, it's our friend Brooke Rollins. Brooke, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm so great. I'm so happy to be back on your show, and I'm even more excited to be in person in West Texas tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. President Trump, Air Force One flying into the Midland area. Tell folks why the president's going to be visiting Midland and also how this really dovetails into a very important issue for folks, obviously, in this area and throughout the U.S.
Well, I will. And Chad, again, thank you so much. I just love being on your show, and I want to send greetings from the White House to all of our great friends out in Texas, especially in West Texas. Tomorrow, the president and our team will be flying into Midland and Odessa for a couple different events, but the most important one is we are going to be out on a rig talking about the importance of energy independence and the great American energy revolution and what this president has done, whether pulling out of the Paris Climate Accord, getting rid of the Obama-era Clean Power Plan, just rule over rule after government overreach, after government overregulation. And I think the last time I was on your show, we were talking about this, but more in the general broad sense. But tomorrow we're going to talk about it specifically to our friends in the energy business and everything that those men and women have done to create prosperity for this country and to help focus on energy poverty around the world when America became, for the first time in 67 years last year, a net energy exporter versus an energy importer. You know, obviously, Brooke, as you know, the energy sector is, along with so much, has taken a hit, partly in due to coronavirus. There have been some other issues as well, but it looks like oil prices are coming back up, and it's not exactly where the folks with the Texas budget wants oil prices to be just yet, but oil prices are beginning to rebound, it looks like. Will the president address that, and will the president also be talking about steps that he's taken, during his administration so far for energy independence? He will. He'll be talking about all of the above. And, there's no doubt that the people in this country are hurting because of COVID and its fallout on the economy. There's no doubt that the people of Texas are hurting. There's no doubt that the people in this industry are hurting. I was looking at some numbers earlier, and the number of rigs that are running today versus were 4 or 5 months ago, and it's astonishing. But the other thing the president's going to talk about is that we are America, and there is no real better model of what America is and the best of America than Texas. And I think that's specifically true of you all out in West Texas, the grit and the determination and the love for country and neighbor and family. And no matter what happens, no matter the odds, we always come back swinging. And I've told the president, we'll tell him again on the plane tomorrow, that these are his people and that no one will fight harder for the American dream and to keep it alive. And even if we're hurting right now, that will end and we'll come back stronger and better than ever. Well,
and Brooke, it's what's so important too is we're on the, we're not that far away from a presidential election and a party that has really taken its cues from, AOC and the most extreme voices that, if the Democrats win, forget about the pain that, the oil field may be, feeling right now. It's going to be much worse if the Democrats win and put into place that Green New Deal.
Well, I think that is a really important point, especially as we move into the next few months, or just the contrast of the different ideas. We think about, you're right, how people are hurting now. We've got less rigs running. There is, unemployment that this part of the country, your part, has not seen, and especially since this president has been president. But imagine with the other side, we're running the country right now, and imagine a Green New Deal that basically would take unemployment to astronomical numbers. There would be no rigs running in West Texas. This is the choice that we have this fall, and I'm not sure there's ever been more of a stark choice than what we have been given between these two candidates. And I don't know if the president will talk about that tomorrow. It's really an event to talk about policy. Knowing him as well as I do, he probably will talk about the choice that Americans are facing and Texans are facing, and it's an important conversation to have, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Brooke, I know you've been so concerned for a long time about the red tape and about different policies that have been holding back energy producers. What do you think has been some of the strongest moves made by the administration when it comes to deregulatory in his deregulatory agenda?
Well, I tell you, it's remarkable, and we could spend a whole hour talking it through. But, I mean, clearly the high point was getting out of the Paris Climate Accord. But probably even better than that, though, was the Clean Power Plan that the Obama EPA and the White House had put in effect, which literally I would go to Midland in my old role as head of the Texas Public Policy Foundation, and I wanted to make sure that the people of West Texas understood that it wasn't just an attack on the energy industry. It was an attack on the American way of life. And if implemented, which it was well on its way before this president stopped it, it truly would have been an absolute just crushing of our fossil fuel, our oil and gas industry. But also things like the Endangered Species Act. You know, the left and the Democrats and the Obama Department of Interior using these rules to basically shut down production to protect, arguably a species that wasn't endangered and that, that was not going to be a big issue, but they would use that as a weapon to do that, whether it's NEPA and the president changing that for the first time in 40 years to allow the more, rapid building of bridges and roads, whether it's tomorrow he's going to sign a couple things in Midland at the rig that will continue to put forward and move government out of the way to allow our great American energy entrepreneurs and American workers to continue this renaissance, even in the face of COVID, but almost more importantly, in spite of COVID, we'll keep moving forward.
Very nice. Brooke, thank you so much for joining us today, and we wish you and the president and everybody traveling to West Texas a great time while you're here, and we appreciate all the work that you're doing.
Awesome, Chad. Great to be with you. Can't wait to be with your people tomorrow, and just thank everyone for their great support and their belief in this country.
All right. Brooke Rollins, appreciate your time today, and we'll visit with you again soon.
Awesome. Have a great day.
You too. That's Brooke Rollins with the White House, Director of Domestic Policy Council, Assistant to the President, President Trump, at Air Force One flying into Midland, Odessa tomorrow. That'll be quite a sight to see. We'll be right back.